closing ceremony. But we're going to be going out with a bang here. We've got a great guest talk lined up here, two amazing guests. Please give it up for the fantastic Thomas Dekker and Brian Austin Green.
Here we are again.
We've been sitting backstage wondering if anybody could possibly have another question.
Yeah.
That we haven't answered, and I'm hoping yes.
Please God.
So we don't just sit up here and do a comedy show.
Look at the camera. It looks like we're on like a talk show. But it feels like it's my talk show because I'm this side. So Brian.
Generally the guest is on. Yes, you're right. No.
Those tattoos. Crazy. I hate talk shows, and that's why.
This is why I wanted questions, because this could go on all night. Thomas Dekker is never ending.
Badly. Although I've been fading fast. A little tired, not gonna lie. So come on, perk me up. What's a question? There's a question.
Obviously Terminator in part is about time travel. For both of you, if you could travel to any point in time, when would it be and why?
When would you travel to?
Good. That's a good question. Yesterday, my question started with what color was my toothbrush? So
A little bit deep. I don't know. I'd like to go in the future of my own life to make sure I don't fuck it all up the way I'm probably going to, you know?
what if you get there and you're not there anymore?
Oh, thanks.
I'm just saying.
Putting death on me now?
You live hard sometimes, and that would suck.
Well, you know, it's eloquent. What would you? Wow, sorry.
I think I'd go. Honestly, I think I would go back to the day that my son was born. So it's crazy.
Oh.
No, and I'm not saying that for an L factor. You do the best Shirley impersonation.
That was another thing I used
That's
to like.
actually the one that you should do. I'm so glad that just came to me.
Yeah.
It just, come on.
I haven't done it in a while. I might have faded. Hello, Agent Ellison. I'd like to speak to you about a new project called Babylon. I'm Catherine Weaver. I'm like surprised that was enjoyed. That's good.
We all enjoyed it on set. I expected the room would like it.
I think we were talking about this in a smaller group or whatever, but just so you guys know, Shirley was like the most timid, terrified actor on our entire show. She was so funny because she's this rock star, but she was so nervous that she was going to do a bad job.
She had difficult stuff also.
Oh yeah.
She had a lot of dialogue and had never done it before. And came on to a show that she actually liked. I mean, she was really, she kicked ass though. I thought Shirley was great on the show.
Which director, well, in US, but also maybe in Europe, would you like to, well, you know, to be directed by? So that's maybe a general question for Brian. And then more specifically after for Thomas, you forgot David Lynch yesterday?
Yes, he asked me my favorite directors yesterday, and I somehow managed to leave out David Lynch, and I said to him earlier today that I was very angry with myself that he did not get a mention, because, as Brian knows. But I have a good way to tie in, Brian, to the situation of a question.
How?
Well, because I have a bit of an obsession with, you know, like I said, European films and art films and kind of weird out-of-the-box movies, and literally Brian would sort of just pop into my trailer while we were shooting the show at any time.
I'm scared of where this is going.
No, you know where it's going. And literally, he would...
I don't know where it's
I'd
going.
be sitting there in the dark, smoking, I know it's bad, and watching, you know, movies incessantly on all my downtime. And Brian would just kind of open the door, unannounced, pop in, look at me.
I would knock first.
Look at the TV, and then he'd just go like, He always watched the weirdest shit. He's like, watching these fucking weird movies. And I'd be like, I like it.
He watches some weird fucking
I do watch some weird movies. So there's a time with Brian, but I would love to be as an actor, I'd love to be directed by Lars von Trier, because I think he would kill me emotionally. And I don't know who in this room knows his movies, but he's a fantastic director. Somebody else asked me yesterday a musical, I think it was you there, that I would like to do, and I meant to say a musical stage version of his film Dancer in the Dark, which was a musical, but very bleak. I'd love to work for Michael Haneke, but he said he will never do another English-speaking language film, so until I learn French or Austrian, which I'll probably be going for French first, I'm being honest. Austrian isn't so much, such a kind of easy communal language. Yeah.
Lena and I got along right away. She was great. She's super outgoing. Was funny and welcoming. And I worked with her first, and she was great. Thomas. Thomas, not so much. I didn't. I kept trying to kind of connect with him and talk to him, and he wasn't really having it for a little while.
I was very threatened.
So you say.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Threatened by what?
You're a dude. On my show where I was the only dude.
Right.
And now there's
Well,
another
except
one.
for Agent Ellison and
Yeah, but he was like off, working one
Dean
day.
Winters, who played Charlie. He was on the show also.
Not when you
There
came
was
in.
Cromartie on the show also.
But dude, no, because when you came in, Cromartie was still putting himself together. There was only Agent Ellison that we never had scenes with. There was no Garrett, there was no side characters at all. It was literally me, Summer, and Lena, and I was the only guy in this show.
It was Three's
in
Company.
the show, and suddenly I was like, here's this guy who goes to the gym and was on some show for a long time. He was famous and cool and strong. And I was scared. I was very scared. I was. Like, fuck this guy, it's a smart show. But then I kind of really grew to like him. You're hard not to like.
Summer is really timid and sweet and shy. Summer just she took a little while to really get to know, only because she doesn't open up very easily.
It's like a Shih Tzu dog. Does anybody know those dogs?
A Shih Tzu?
Yeah, I've always known Summer as a Shih Tzu. Big-eyed, pretty, but really timid, doesn't really open up at all, and then find out that they love you, like a Shih Tzu.
Huh. You and Summer are still friends?
I love Summer, yeah. I've told her before.
And she's a Shih Tzu?
Yeah. She calls me a freaking toucan, so I think I can call her a Shih Tzu. She calls me a parrot.
Why?
We played this whole game where we were figuring out what everybody was as an animal. It's a long story, and we continued with
And you were a
It was a
parrot?
long night of shooting. Yes, I was a parrot.
Okay.
She's allowed to be a Shih Tzu.
All right. You can share later.
You're like a panther.
By probably the third episode in, everybody, I got along great with everybody. There wasn't anyone on the set that I didn't get along with. We had an incredible cast and crew. It was just a great experience. It's rare that you work on a set where everyone clicks, and this set just worked. It worked from the bottom all the way to the top. James Middleton and Josh Friedman and John Worth were fantastic to work for. When they came to set, it's not like the fun would stop and everybody would be afraid that they were there and then worry about their job security. It was, Josh would come to set and be a big kid and be excited about the fact that he had a show being made that he created. And for him, he would just kind of sit around and smile about it all the time. Who else?
Time for one more question.
No, you don't have to. How about you? You got along with everybody right away?
Yes. I was also very nervous when I started. Because, I don't know, I was just, it's always scary. You don't know if you're going to like who you're working with, and et cetera.
Had you seen the movies before you booked the show?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you were a fan.
Oh, yeah. Big fan.
So how much pressure did you feel?
So
by
much.
John Connor?
Terrified. so terrified. And that was, I think, what I got to New Mexico, and I sort of had on this whole, like, stay character, and I, was so scared or whatever. And I already met Summer because I read with her. And then Lena just was, made me loosen up and laugh. And then I got along so well with Josh and David Nutter and everybody. And then by the time we started in LA, it was like, I was just happy because there had been such a long period between the pilot and the starting of the show. I was just happy to be like back doing more in my combat decks.
It was weird. It was weird for me coming in the 5th episode because you all had
Queen's
a
Gambit.
world that was working. You all knew each other.
I know. Well, I think that's why
it was such a family element. And my first day in was really just shocking. I mean, I auditioned the day before, and I was like, okay, here I am. I'm going to warn a lot and just kind of thrown in. But everybody was great. I mean, I was only supposed to be there, I think, originally for 3 episodes. It was a possible 6.
And you did such a good job.
You sleep with the right people.
Are we done?
I think the only really cool, exciting thing for me that came out of 90210 was I got to meet George Lucas, which was a huge deal to me. We were shooting at LAX, and he flew into town with his daughters just to come to set and meet us. And I've always been the biggest Star Wars fan, and so that to me was that made it worth it for a little while.
Just so you know, you guys aren't as removed from this guy as you think. He has very fancy lightsabers in his home on display, along with a Freddy Krueger glove that he made. So, you guys could be closer than
I made a Freddy Krueger glove.
It is awesome, by the way. Like, he made it by hand.
I made a Freddy Krueger glove working on a film, and I had set school, and I couldn't think of anything to do for art class. I was working in New Mexico, and my set teacher made jewelry, so I ended up making a glove. It's pretty awesome. It's cool. Yeah, it's pretty badass.
It's cooler than that remake.
Did anybody see the...
I already went through this yesterday. Let's just put it this way. There was a difference in hands of did you see it and did you like it? There was a massive difference in hand.
Well, I only got one hand and she saw it and didn't. No.
I work in a cinema, I had to see it.
You know that when I went to see it...
Thomas was great though, right? He was good.
Thomas was awesome.
Oh, well, thanks. I went to see it, in a movie theater just with the group of friends or whatever in San Francisco. And it was like opening night, and I went up to get the ticket from the lady, and she's like looking at me, and she's, one of those very, very bored, doesn't want to be there. And I'm like, so, you gonna see this movie? She's like, no, it looks stupid. The original. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, all the kids are gonna be stupid, the killer's gonna be stupid, it's gonna be stupid. Okay, I'll see you afterwards. I'm glad you're not in the same screening I am.
They need to stop remaking all the horror films and leave those alone.
Don't you guys agree?
Yeah. Freddy died when it was time to die, I mean, they already ran through those films. And
there's a lot of movies that's happening too.
Running out of original ideas.
They are. So, guys, you guys got to write shit down.
Yeah, write some shit.
Blogs,
send it to the States.
Because we're desperate. We're drowning over there. So.
I mean, fuck people. They remade 90210. Come on. That is desperation. Well, yeah, I'm feeling like we probably run through all of our questions in here.
We'll start remaking them.
We'll start remaking all of the questions. So, Thomas, this has been a really cool 3 days. Never done one of these before, and I loved it. And I want to thank you all for coming out.
So, we're following Cameron.
The crawl.
Basically, we're
there was meant to be little dialogue involved, but
Yeah.
Fox was completely against it. Do you think had the show been with, not with a network, but with a cable, it would have gone in a completely different direction?
Really hard to say. If it had been cable, we wouldn't have had, certainly in the beginning, we wouldn't have had the kind of budget room that we had being a network show.
We wouldn't have had that budget for a long time.
That's what I mean. Like,
That's one
we
of the
were
major
at
restrictions
least
of cable.
allotted, being a network show, a lot more money in the beginning to do kind of more justice to honor the films, I think. But I don't know, as far as artistic freedom,
Yeah, like we said before, Josh was pretty tough. He didn't really listen to the network much, which I think overall could have been one of the issues that started coming up with Fox was, hey, this is how we want the show to be made. And Josh said, hey, it's not the show that I sold you guys. And they would butt heads a bit. Thankfully, I'm glad that Josh never backed down and he made the show that he wanted to make, because I think he's an extremely talented writer and creator. I don't know if that episode necessarily changed because of Fox. I think that episode changed because at that point, they were aware of the fact that the writer's strike might be happening and that it might end up being the last episode of the season.
and just for everyone who doesn't know in the room, this episode we were speaking about was to follow the episode where Cameron gets blown up in the truck, but if our first season had continued, so it wouldn't have then been just the first episode of the second year, and the entire episode was going to be Cameron's torso, her legs blown off as she tried to crawl to the house to protect us, and there was going to be no dialogue, and this was going to be a whole episode of the show.
Of Cameron finding emotion.
Of
And
Cameron.
trying to get back to the house to save John and Sarah.
So it was a very cool original episode of television, and
Yeah.
but like Brian's saying, I think it just didn't work out because of when the strike hit. So,
Yeah. Yeah, the story just changed a bit when they
It's
realized.
been an easy week for us. All this summer out there crawling around.
You're just doing voiceover work.
Yeah. I'd like throw peanuts and stuff at her. No! I love summer, but I still would have done that.
Can you imagine her though, like crawling around on the Warner Brothers backlot with like a green potato sack on the bottom of her body so they could remove it later? Those are the times in this job where you sit there and you think, what the fuck am I doing? As I was nude on the Warner Brothers backlot in a burning circle with 3 other nude men, I thought, what the hell am I doing?
It sounds like a Johnny Cash song.
It sounded really cool. It was exciting to read. I thought, oh, I get to time travel like they did in the films, and then you're there doing it, going, this sucks. I can't wait for this to.
We were in the middle of a freeway in New Mexico. It wasn't even a backlot. It was the middle of a freeway, and I had on these panties that were like cut up the side because David
Much like the ones you jog in.
hip,
Right.
and it was very cold, but we've established that already. So, anyway, next question.
Can we have the Hepburn impression?
Hepburn. Oh, you started this. I didn't realize I was specifically doing Hepburn. Was I specifically doing? I thought I was doing a bit of everything. No?
Do it or not. I don't go. Yeah.
She's just a bit shaky, isn't she? What are we doing now?
Now
Is
picture
this the
that
scene with the robot? The green dress.
we'd be rehearsing. Brand new director, excited, just pumped on set. Hey guys, good to meet you all. Okay, let's jump into this scene and action. And
I just like to take, because John was always so
there's
quiet.
John.
All the drama was all like woven in, so I just love to take these very dramatic lines on paper and then do them really like. So let's say like normally if Sarah was like, it's time to move on, John, and I could be like, I can't. I would like in the rehearsal to be like, it's time to move on, John. No, I can't! And that would really make the director panic. And I keep that up. And then we'd roll and I'd be all John, but it's funny at the time. I had to be there.
I'm surprised.
I can't do it!
I wish there was more of that on the blooper reel. I wish that the cameras were rolling for rehearsals. Because
I know,
it
it's
was a
funny
much
as the
different
real
show
is.
in rehearsal.
Yeah.
Much different.
Yeah.
Not nearly as dark.
No, yeah. And Lena and I like to hit on each other in character. Oh, a lot. John,
They get really close to kissing.
where are the guns? In Derek's room. Oh. Uncle Derek? Remember that whole thing? There was a lot of insinuating that the whole family was fucking each other. So, it was very funny at the time, at least to me, I don't know. Especially when there's a hot robot involved, it just becomes funny. Sarah Lena used to come in and be like, I'll take her tonight, John. Give her a rest. Mama's got this one. Sorry for the children in the audience.
You know what? Talking about this, no wonder our show was canceled. I mean, really, who in their right mind would keep this cast together any longer than a season and a
I
half?
said just fire me and keep the show going so I can at least still watch it. I at least put that out there, but no.
Or make it a sitcom. And
I think that should be the resurrection.
we could have shot it for cheap if it was a sitcom.
True.
Yeah.
Might have lost a bit of its punch. Hi. Hi.
If you could pick your own Terminator bodyguard, who would you pick and why?
Like any real person that would that be Terminator version? Anybody in this room ever see the 1995 classic film entitled Species? Yeah. That's Natasha Henstridge, right? Not bad. Lady, I'd pick her. I'd want her to be my Terminator bodyguard. She's tall, she's lean, she's mean, and she knows how to get the job done. So, I was a big fan of hers when I was 8, when that movie came out. I'd like her to be my bodyguard. Brian?
You were only 8 when that movie came out?
Yeah, and my mother had to take the video away from me because I watched it so much. And I would draw her all day like a creepy pedo. Like literally I would sit there in front of the TV and be like, boobs. I don't know. It was a big deal. It was very important to me at the time. And then fucking spikes came out of her back and she killed people. Like, it was awesome.
It was sexy, though. It was.
It was a sexy movie.
I'd love to answer the same. I just don't know if that would work out at home, you know?
Right.
Having Natasha Henstridge walking around our house and protecting us.
She's a bit noticeable. That would be a bet.
Curly Sue. Or Scooby-Doo. Or Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Or Shaggy, because everybody would think he was just like your podhead friend, and then he'd like come in and shit.
How badass would it be if you had SpongeBob as your Terminator protector? Like, you know,
SpongeBob
everybody laughs, and then he just slaughters a room full of people. Guns in the sponge.
Guns in the sponge, sounds like a rap track.
That'd be the first film.
Remember the Terminator turtle? Do you remember the Terminator turtle? I think we can release this information to the world.
Oh,
no, they won't know because it was cut.
That was during all the three dots.
Right. So remember when we come back from Mexico and Sarah pukes on the side of the road and she saves that little turtle, and then there's all the nightmares with the turtle thing. Now, I thought the turtle thing was very cool, but there was in the event...
No, you guys talk shit about the turtle thing
for
like
a
week leading up
But
to
then
it.
when I saw the episode, I thought it was really cool, and I got it. But remember that there was supposed to be a shot, and this was, I believe, a fox. A fox wanted this again, where in her dream, after she's puked, the turtle that she saved inside the road was supposed to close in on the turtle, and it was going to have red Terminator eyes. This was a first draft, so this is not, I'm not criticizing, but fortunately that was cut pretty quick. Yeah. A Terminator turtle.
Again, thank God for Josh Friedman.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what our show would have been otherwise? Terminator turtle.
Had Shirley Manson in the toilet and the Terminator turtle. And then something special. Her whole